Welcome to OneWord.com's podcast. Each episode revolves around one word.
Today's word is rain.
Okay, a quick trigger warning for anyone with an aversion to cuteness. You might want to skip this first part.
3, 2, 1.
Go.
When you hear the word rain, what goes through your head?
About today, 'cause it's raining.
What do you think about it?
Just that you get to play around in the rain after a whole day. I just love splashing in the puddles.
It's one of my favorite days when I wake up and it's raining, especially if I don't have to drive.
I appreciate the rarity of it because I'm an LA native.
Summertime, rain is magical when you're a kid.
When I saw the word rain, it really just made me grateful for the weather here.
Rain is so important for everything. We all need water. Water is life.
Some cities I have a negative impression of, and I think sometimes it's unfair. Like the one day I spent in that city, it happened to be raining. And I just wrote it off, like what a shitty city that is. Really, David? I kind of like Montreal. No, dude, it's wet.
The first cavemen, cave women, cave people, when that water started falling out of the sky, they must have looked up in awe and amazement, opening up their mouths, chanting, praying, probably screaming, thanking the sky.
The water that we have on Earth now is all the water that Earth has ever had. And so when it's raining and you are getting rained on, you are being showered in the secretions of like sates, experiencing the moisture that has passed through the urethra of dinosaurs.
When I was a child, the hot button environmental issue was acid rain, which sounds terrifying. It sounds like an Old Testament punishment. Like there was a people who experienced a mighty drought and they prayed to God, please God, give us rain. And they were prideful, sinful people. And God was like, you want rain? And they were like, yes, we need rain for our orgies. And God was like, I'll give you rain. And they're like, thank you, God. Oh, we needed... Wait, this isn't rain. This is acid.
Job was so loved by his family and friends and all the people all around him that it was said they waited for him like they waited for the rain. Imagine being someone like that.
When I was a kid, probably about maybe 5 years old, there was this one day where we had a really intense storm coming through. It was windy and it was rainy and there were all these big leaves flying off the trees, these big like maple leaves. And I remember as a little kid being so scared of these leaves because every time I would take a step, it made this loud crunch. And it scared me because the sound seemed so intense at that age. I was with my younger brother, who's about a year and a half younger than I am, and the rain was pouring down, lightning and thunder, and I started to get really scared. And my brother turned to me and said, it's okay, we're together. And that little sentence has kind of stuck with me ever since then, where I can always remember that no matter what storm is going on in life, I can always count on my younger brother to be there when I need him the most.
Kids, they get so excited. They want to run outside and play. And, of course, we freak out like, oh my God, raincoat, rain boots, umbrella. But the kids, they don't care. They'd be running around naked outside.
During COVID, I was running short on things to entertain the kids with, and it rained really hard one day. The rain was pouring down in curtains, and I guess he was 9 at the time, and I let him run out in the rain
he just took his shirt off. And there's this one picture I took of him. His chest is arched out and his hands are balled up in fists and he's like screaming at the sky, but not in anger, but just like in pure joy. That is one picture that sticks with me. It's like in all this chaos and craziness, we can find joy in the permission we give ourselves to just let ourselves go and just feel the rain. The heaviness of the world isn't so heavy when you're 9 years old. And I can remember it forever.
Growing up, we used to have boat races in the storm drains. We would also at times lay down in the gutter and essentially make a dam of ourselves where you've got your shoulders blocking the water so the water would build up and then flow up and over, your shoulders and next to your ears, and just incredible. Knowing now what's in that water, I don't think I would do the same thing again. But as a kid, fantastic. Unbelievable. Maybe I should do it again.
For adults, the rain is more problems, and for kids, the rain is freedom, which is kind of the way it should be.
We just moved to Austin, Texas a year ago, and the rain here is glorious because it's not cold rain. It's feels like tropical rain. It'll rain even when it's warm outside, so I can go out and really just enjoy the rain and the weather, and it's not freezing.
When you're flying out of an airport in a city where it's raining, and then you ascend above the clouds, and suddenly it's just a beautiful day. There's no rain at all. You're like in heaven. All the humans down on Earth are watching where they step and putting on raincoats and tugging at their dogs on their leash to get them to go outside and take a shit in the rain, and you're above it all.
I will prep for 48 hours before I know the rain is coming, and I will take my dog on 12 walks a day. And I'm like, trust me, you are gonna want these extra walks because we're not leaving the house for a while.
The rain here does come with a lot of thunder and lightning, and that scares the crap out of my poor doggy.
In the Aztec world, they used to do different ceremonies to the rain gods, rain dances, and maybe a little sacrificial offering. I wonder how often their ratio was for sacrificing versus water from falling out of the sky. You think anybody stepped back and said, wait a minute, maybe it'll just rain if we don't sacrifice people or if we stop dancing?
About 20 years ago, New Mexico was experiencing a terrible drought. A tribe called in the local medicine man and asked him to call for rain, but it never rained. So they brought in a different medicine man from another area, and so he came and did his ceremony, and that night it rained, and it continued to rain for the next 3 days. The tribe finally asked him why his ceremony worked when the others didn't, and he said the other medicine man was praying for rain, and when you pray for something, that means it doesn't exist now. I just prayed rain. So what actually happened was he first became rain. He wasn't human medicine man praying for rain. He was rain praying to rain. So the only thing that existed in the reality was rain.
Didn't it used to be spring came in like a lion and went out like a lamb, and now it's just a lion the whole time? I don't know what it is. They say it might have something to do with global warming or maybe it's global cooling.
When I have climate change apocalypse visions, it's like the raindrops just converge into one giant raindrop, and suddenly we're just underwater but coming from the sky. We're in an aquatic upside down.
Acid rain is largely not talked about anymore because we kind of solved it through emissions trading. We limited the amount of sulfur dioxide that companies can put into the air. We should talk about how it was successful more often.
A lot of good things happened to me in the rain. My daughter was born when it was raining. I still remember it. It was so beautiful. The water was just splashing against the windows. But it was also present on one of the worst days of my life. I was driving on the freeway and it was pouring rain, and my car began to hydroplane, and it started spinning out, and it hit the side of the road, and it flipped over probably 10 or 15 times. I ended up landing in this ditch, rain pouring all over me, everything in my car outside. And it was probably the scariest time of my life, but I guess that's the power of rain. Too much of it can be bad, and not enough could be bad.
It's just a storm, and it's just rain, and it'll pass.
That's the goal in everything. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, just get to a place where you're just not bothered by the rain. You're just above it.
Without rain, we and all the world is dust.
Profound as always, Anne at Artifact LA. Thanks to you and Alison in Herndon, Virginia, who was kind enough to send the picture she mentioned in her story, which I've posted in the show notes. Amy and special guest Milo in South Orange, New Jersey. David with Barton Smart Trivia. Edgar in Glendale. Jesse in Huntsville, Alabama. Kat in Los Angeles. Mark in Northern Virginia. Nicole in Austin. And Stephen with a Spaceship Martini. To be a part of a future episode, go to podcast.oneword.com. Until next time.
Attention patrons of Club Majestic. Just like any business, we must keep up with the times. That's why, as of today, we are no longer permitting the practice of making it rain. That is, flinging bills onto the dancers. These women are our daughters. They're our sisters. They deserve it. Get down from, do not hang from that. It's not load bearing. So from now on, bring a bill no smaller than a $20 bill or Venmo. You can use Venmo.